was to sell 25,000 editions in its first 8 months when published in 1810. Over time, many extracts from these poems would become songs. One of them, the old G.
Hiya.
Morning.
Morning. Go up the front.
Click on the odds.
Pairs of nesting offspring, one at the west end near Glengyle and one at the east end near Ellen's. Golden eagles are sometimes seen around the loch hunting for food, so do keep your eyes open and you may be fortunate enough to spot one. We also have a few otters roaming around the loch side.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are just beginning our approach into Stronachlachar. Stronachlachar, roughly translated, means a stonemason's point in Gaelic. Now, who he was and why he was here, I'm afraid is lost to history, but there is quite a large quarry on the north side, north shore of Loch Katrine, so perhaps something to do with that. Now, folks, as we move into the pier at Stronachlachar, this is disembark single fare passengers only. So if you do have a return ticket, we do advise this.
Thanks for well down. You might get a shower.
Cool. Nice one. Okay, see you later.
Thanks then.
Well, welcome back to Loch Katrine and the Great Trossachs Path, and this time we've gone back a stage. This is the second stage, probably the longest stage. Well, not probably, it is the longest stage that we'll be walking on this route. So somewhere between 12 and 14 miles, I think, from Stronachlachar back to the pier at the east end of Loch Katrine. So it's quite muggy today. It's very overcast. There might be a spot of rain a little later on, and I hope you enjoyed the video of the cruise. So we got the boat down to the pier here, which took about an hour or so, and it's going to take slightly longer to walk back, so we'll see you on the trail. Fabulous old Scots pine here. Loving it. So the downside of this section is it's tarmac all the way pretty much back to Loch Katrine, because it's the waterboard road. So the loch itself was actually deepened in 1859 when it became the water supply for Glasgow, so it still functions as that, and it's providing millions and millions of gallons of water every day to Glasgow. So the scheme here actually revolutionised the health of the city of Glasgow overnight. It'd been suffering from a cholera epidemic, and because their water supply was so I guess contaminated was the big problem. And once they started getting water from here, running through specially built aqueducts, I think it takes about 14 hours or something to run from here to Glasgow, but it wiped out the cholera epidemic overnight. Just people having access to clean water. So it's since been extended, I think several times. There's now, I think, are there 3 aqueducts now that run to Glasgow? I think there's 3 aqueducts that run to Glasgow now, just because obviously as the city's expanded it's needed more water, but it's fed by reservoirs at Glenfinglas and also Loch Katrine, which we passed alongside on the first stage. So originally the loch was nowhere near this level. It was it's actually been deepened by, I think, around 60 feet or so to basically provide the water for Glasgow here. But it is a beautiful, beautiful location. I can see why Walter Scott captured the imagination of the Victorians. There we go. There's the Walter Scott itself heading back towards Loch Katrine Pier. So they do various boat trips on here, just a 45-minute, an hour cruise, and the 2-hour cruise here to Stronachlachar Pier. This one only runs twice a day during the summer, so you've either got to come up here and walk back, or just stay on the boat or hang around for the afternoon boat. But it is stunning. Thoroughly enjoyed that little cruise, and hopefully we'll enjoy the journey back. Now the little island there next to the pier is actually called the Factor's Island. A factor was a bit like an estate manager for the landowners here, and the reason I think it's called the Factor's Island is that when Rob Roy was in dispute with the Duke of Montrose, he actually imprisoned Montrose's factor on that island. There we go. That's exactly what it says there. The tiny island directly opposite is the Factor's Island. As part of his campaign against Montrose, Rob Roy imprisoned the Duke's tax collector here. So, there you go. The landscape is just astounding here, really. I've never actually been up this far in Loch Katrine before. It's been years since I was up at Stronachlacher. I think about nearly 30 years since I was last at Stronachlacher before we started this route. But it's just an incredible landscape. As I said on the other video, it's the landscape that kick-started the tourist trade. Get off, you little... Sorry, I was about to swear there. I was getting chomped by a clegg right in my wrist. Ow. The perils of walking in Scotland. Cleggs, ticks and midges. Looking back all the way to Ben Renew in the distance. We're not too far away from the head of the loch now as well. And Rob Roy's birthplace, Glengyle. So I'm going to be interested to see what that looks like. I don't think there's a great deal there anymore, just maybe a sort of fairly modern-ish house. But yeah. Where it all began for Rob Roy McGregor. Wow, that waterfall's spectacular just up ahead. There must have been a heck of a lot of water down overnight and this morning, because that is in full spate. We'll have to get up close to it and see it from underneath. It looks a bit tricky to get up there though. Wow. It's not bad, this walking thing. Wow. Oh, isn't this fantastic? That is someplace. So this is Glengyle on the other side. Now, obviously that wasn't the house that was there at the time of Rob Roy, so that probably dates to sometime during the 18th century, but this would have been where Rob Roy was born. What a place. Heart of McGregor territory. I'll do a quick 360 degrees here because this is just something else. What a landscape. Hi guys. Yeah, not bad.
Did you come on the boat?
Yes.
I only got 10 miles to go.
Feels like we've done a lot more than 2.5 miles.
Well, I've got 302 here.
just about back opposite Stronachlacher Pier, but we're around about the halfway mark for the day. But down at Stronachlacher, that was where the aqueduct starts, so it's the outflow from Loch Katrine to take the water to Glasgow. When it was opened in 1859, Queen Victoria actually came here, and they built a cottage for her called the Royal Cottage. Actually built it for that specific reason, no other reason whatsoever. Cottage is still there. It's a beautiful building, but she never actually stayed there. Because on opening day, when she cut the ribbon to officially open the waterworks scheme, they held a 21 gun salute, and when these guns were fired simultaneously, they actually broke all the windows in the property, so they had to go and find somewhere else for Queen Victoria to stay. So they built this building specifically for her, but yeah, because all the windows smashed at the gun salute, she couldn't stay there, unfortunately. I think it was one of the hotels in between Stronachlacher and Aberfoyle she ended up staying at. Ben Lomond in the distance there. Hiya. So you might just be able to make it out there on the opposite bank. That's the Royal Cottage. Just to the right of it, hidden behind the tree, is the outlet that marks the start of the aqueduct to Glasgow. There we are, we're getting a bit closer to Benvenue. Loving it. The trails drop down off the road onto this track. It's just so nice to be off the tarmac and in amongst the woodland like this. And as I've said before on previous trails, it makes such a difference when you're actually travelling in the landscape rather than through the landscape, which you tend to do on a road. It's almost like you're detached from it. This is a bit more intimate, shall we say. I like it. But it's just this beautiful oak and birch woodland along here. This temperate rainforest that you find in the west of Scotland. Absolutely lush. In the spring this will be full of bluebells, but the heather's even out in flower now as well. Beautiful. Maybe about 4 miles or so left, I think, back to the Trossachs Pier. I'm getting a good view of Ben Ann now as well. That little conical peak. And then Benvenue sitting on the other side of the loch there. Ooh. Now there's a question, with the boat being called the Sir Walter Scott, is it a he or a she? Answers on a postcard, please. Oh, 3.5 miles or so left, so still maybe an hour and a half's walking. There we go, but we're doing alright, considering I've been messing about doing so much filming again. But oh, so humid today. It's the humidity that gets you. The woodland along this shore of the loch has just been fantastic. It's been a real mix of oak and birch woodland, and some of these just up on the left, these are really old birch trees. I don't think I've ever seen as many sort of mature ones. There's a few ones that are a bit spindly there, but others have got a real good girth on them, for want of a better expression. But all the oak trees are just wonderful shapes and sizes. There's been some here that are at least maybe 200 or 300 years old. So it's old woodland, and right on the shore of the loch as well. Glorious. This is what Scotland should look like. I think this is called Brachill Point, or Brochill Point, something along those lines, but this is one of those places that inspired a generation of artists and guys like Walter Scott. I think even Jules Verne wrote about Loch Katrine here. Apparently, I need to double check that in one of his novels. But this is one of the views that helped to kickstart the Scottish tourist trade, and well, you can see why. The summer dawn's reflected hue to purple changed Loch Katrine blue. Mildly and soft the western breeze just kissed the lake, just stirred the trees. And the pleased lake, like maiden coy, trembled, but dimpled not for joy. From Lady of the Lake by Sir Walter Scott, that's the inscription there. Wordsworth. My own footsteps. Horatio McCulloch. Sir Walter Scott. John Ruskin. That's a few big names there. Well, we're coming towards the end of the second section of the Great Trossachs Path, with Ben Venue standing proud right in front of me at the moment. But as ever, if you're enjoying these videos, please do leave us a like, leave a comment below, or even consider subscribing. Yeah, well, hopefully I'll have a lot more where this came from. So you should have seen that section 3 was up, so you could probably go back and watch them in order now. But it's been a fantastic day. Quite hard on the feet, actually, because it's mainly been tarmac. Well, it's been tarmac virtually the whole route round. But what a great route. Really enjoying it. Let me just let this van past. So I think on stage 1 I talked a little bit about the West Highland Way and various different options. I think if I was heading south on the West Highland Way from Fort William, I'd maybe consider this as an option. Come up the Great Trossachs Path from Inversnaid and finish in Callander. It would be about the same distance, I think, as walking all the way to Mulgai. But yeah, this stunning landscape, absolutely beautiful. The forest that we've been walking through the second half of the day, this native forest, birch and oak, is just phenomenal. Here we are. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.